Okay, so here we are on Halloween evening, and I have returned to the land of the living from the land of the dead. As you can hear, my voice is still messed up pretty bad, but I'm starting to feel a little bit better. Thank you, salbutamol lace cough syrup. So I've been going back and forth every day, and they've been listening to my lungs, taking all my vitals, trying to make sure that this COVID virus doesn't morph into something way worse with me. And so far, so good. I'm actually recovering now. I'm starting to recover, starting to feel a little bit like myself. Okay, now I would not come back when I was like this, except we have things to talk about. And I'm sorry it's not a live stream, but I just checked my internet speed here and it's very low. It's very slow. Once they start revving up people start logging online and start getting ready to do the Bitcoin mining here in this area, our internet and our electricity all starts to tank. I mean, we actually, if we use too many appliances, it'll trip the meter. So after about 9. So now is when it starts, the internet starts going away. So if you don't know who I am, I'm Suzanne Titkemeyer, history for Pathos, a column called No Longer Quivering, where I covered the quiverful movement in evangelical Christianity. If you could do the YouTube things, hit like, subscribe, whatever the spirit moves you to do. Please don't bully anybody that I talk about here at all, ever, ever, ever. And just don't be rude to each other in the comments. That's all I ask. Okay, so the reason that I'm coming back with the Night of the Living Dead voice, and I'm kind of pissed off because I would have liked to have done a Halloween themed video. I've had some strange paranormal experiences in my lifetime that one of these days I have to talk about. I've been places that were clearly haunted. One of my all-time favorites is the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum. I've been there. And it's something else to see. But unfortunately, the kind of horror I'm talking about is not any of this. I'm kind of reminded of many years ago when I first moved to my little Virginia town. I couldn't find a job anywhere. So I got a part-time job because my kids were little then. I didn't want to go full-time back in the workforce. I had a job at the local movie theater. I was the assistant manager. I know, low man on the totem pole. I love that job. I loved working with the teenagers because it was entirely a teenage crew that was working with us. And I love that place. There were some times that were a little spooky and weird. We had a time where the local schizophrenic tried to cut the throat of a man working there that he didn't know. That was kind of scary one night. And there were times when I got the creeps being in there in the middle of the night when I was at the old theater downtown because it was haunted. And I have to tell you all about Mr. Pitt and the Haunted State Theater at some other point. So why am I talking about the theater? Because there was a story that happened at the theater that was just so bizarre that fits with the kind of bizarre that's been going on lately. What do I mean? Well, one of the people that was working with us for a short period of time was a guy named George. Jorge, we called him just for the fun of it. One day I came to work and Jorge said, "Hey, you should really buy thicker curtains." And I said, "What are you talking about, Jorge?" He said, "I drove by your house last night, front and back, and I could see into your house." Now, we lived in a 2-story Cape Cod, so you can only see in the downstairs, into the living room. Big deal, you watch us watch television. Said, "No, I could see from the back of your house into your kitchen window." And I'm thinking, you really are a creeper because that's not a paved road behind us. That's more like a tractor path. So this week has been kind of really strange. There's been a lot of people that I would say are creeping on each other, like George driving on the tractor path to see in my kitchen window. I don't know what he was going to see. We weren't having an orgy on the kitchen countertop. All he would have seen was us cooking dinner, having dinner, and watching TV. Exciting stuff. And the recent behavior of some of the people in our community kind of reminds me of Jorge. It's like, oh no, you're creeping around doing things you shouldn't be doing. The other day, Roadhog he issued an apology to me. Now, if you remember back in January, December, somewhere around there, Roadhog had said a number of things, making fun of me for using a cane and various other things, making fun of my lost tooth that I lost from my mast cell disorder. Just a number of really dumb things. And he apologized for those things, and I accepted his apology. And I said I was sorry if I had done anything to harm him or his wife, Michelle. I meant what I said when I said I accepted his apology. But here's the thing. It made everybody and their brother lose their minds in the community. And I just want to point out something. Accepting somebody's apology does not mean that you're automatically approving of every single thing they do. Not at all. Well, I wish Roadhog no ill will at all. Wish him rainbows and lollipops and blessings. And I'm not even going to remember all the former previous bad stuff that was done or said, because it's like as far as from the east is from the west. And I try to forgive people. I try to have really short offense lists. The only person who's consistently on it is, I don't even have to say her name because of the thievery of content. She's the only person that I'm consistently so angry at. And even then, it's more anger at the behavior, not the person. So we have all these people that are saying, Suzanne is this, Suzanne is that, Suzanne approves that. No, I don't. I don't approve of anybody or disapprove of somebody's behavior. Their behavior is their behavior. I don't feel obligated to police force the entire world like some of you guys do. I practice more of a live and let live. And also when people are involved these little mob groups and start stalking the crap out of people, kind of like Jorge peeking through my kitchen window, I'm just kind of like, breathe in, breathe out, move on, according to Jimmy Buffett. Or another thing I've quoted many times, it's an old Arab proverb, the dogs may bark, but this caravan moves on. That's kind of how I am. I'm moving on. And if you don't like the fact that I accepted an apology, I suggest you have to look at yourself and see what's going on within your own heart and why you're finding it hard. And you have to insert yourself in somebody else's business, because this is really between he and I. I friended his wife, I don't know, 3 or 4 months ago, with the idea that perhaps he was abusing her, because I'd said in the past that he seemed like the kind of guy to do that stuff. Over the last so many months, I've come to the conclusion he is not abusive to her. She's happy in her marriage. She's a good mother, as far as I can tell. And I'm not going to throw any rocks at them for anything in the past. Like I said, the past is the past. I'm just interested in moving forward. If you can't accept that, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to argue with you about it. Your relationship and your own little quirks are your own thing. But stop with all the stalking and with all the purity tests and things. I went on Aaron's channel last night to talk about this, just a hair. And I talked about how I have never seen a group that didn't eventually devolve into this kind of nonsense. What happens is, at first, everybody is welcome. Everybody, and we all spin around well. Then after a while, somebody raises their head and appoints themselves leader and says, we can't accept anybody that parts their hair on the right. So they kick those people out. And then a month or so later, it's like, well, we can't accept anybody that parts their hair at all. So they spin it on down. More people are kicked out for dumb reasons. Then they say, oh, well, we can't have anybody whose hair is more than 4 inches longer than their chin. Kick out a bunch more. So you have these impossible standards. It's kind of like purity culture. It's very much like Christian purity culture and Christian fundamentalism. Higher walls, more rules, more purity BS being slung. And you're just like going, oh heavens, to Murgatroyd. And you're on the outside looking in going, guys, this isn't the way forward. This is the way swirling around going down the toilet bowl. So there you have it. Tomorrow, if my voice is up to it, I really want to talk about tomorrow is All Saints Day. And on Halloween, which we don't celebrate here, nobody celebrates Halloween in Costa Rica. Here, we don't celebrate it, but I remember my father's favorite holiday was Halloween and All Saints Day. I can't tell you how many times that I went with him on All Saints Day. We had a picnic basket full of food and scrub brushes and things that we would clean the family tombs in New Orleans and in Ponchatoula. And that was a full day. I think about him every Halloween. I think hard about him every All Saints Day. So I'm right now remembering him, and I'm celebrating the fact that I beat this stupid virus. I beat COVID. They said today that I was on the mend, and it was kind of weird because every day it was like, go to the clinic, have them listen to your lungs, take an EKG. Maybe it affected your heart. Have your heart looked at, all of that. And I got a clean bill of health this morning. Even my blood pressure was low. And she tried to stick me for a blood sugar read, but I wouldn't let her. Because my blood sugar has been good. I don't stick myself anymore than I absolutely have to. So you guys, I have a lot more content that I want to say, and there's a lot of things I would wanted to say about forgiveness too. You know, forgiving people frees you and it frees them. And it allows you to step ahead, step off and do something totally different. It even allows you to have a relationship with that person if that's what you want. And there are some people that you're going to forgive that you're going to say, I don't want to be in a relationship with this person. They're too awful. There was somebody in my old church that I just could not stand him by the time I left. Well, I'll let you know, about 2 or 3 years after we left, God really worked on my heart to forgive him. And the night before I was going to a conference I knew he was going to show up at, because that was his jam, was those conferences, for a musician called Jason Upton, whose music I still love to this day. We were all going to see Jason Upton in Maryland, near Camp David somewhere. And I was all night fuming and futtering and going, I don't want to see this guy. I don't want to see this guy. I don't want to see this guy. Well, I'll have you know, the very next day, I saw the guy. I saw him at the Jason Upton conference. Before the conference, he walked up to me, and I had such a download of love for this guy. Like, it had to be supernatural. It was God. It was not me. And I had to step forward and hug him, even though I never really wanted to hug him. I thought he was creepy in the natural. And we mended the relationship, at least in a superficial way. We were able to talk to each other for a few minutes at a time without hands and words being thrown, and without him telling me I was going to HE double hockey sticks in a basket. So there is that. So forgiveness is, because bitterness is like drinking poison, expecting the other person to die. That's kind of like revenge too. One of the few useful things I carried out of my old church was not to take offense at stuff. There are a lot of things that people do online, offline, that I just don't take offense at. And I still don't have that perfect. I need to practice that. I need to practice that big time, especially with my husband, because sometimes he just sets me off, and I do and say stuff like throwing hands, and threatening bodily harm. So everybody's life is a work in progress, and you have to decide where your fault lines lie. You can't let other people dictate that. And if you see a bunch of people spinning off, you see they're going in the wrong direction, don't let yourself be drugged there. Don't let them push you off what you know to be morally right. And then one last thing about forgiveness. You know, if Katie Joy were to ask me for forgiveness, stealing my content, I would give it to her at this point. I wouldn't want a relationship. She'd be one of those people that would be no relationship, but I would certainly forgive her at this point. I don't want to hold on to any of this stuff. Life is too short. Be well, go out and enjoy yourselves. Have a great life. Have a great evening. And I will talk to you guys real soon, probably tomorrow. Love you.